my Unexplainables, and welcome back to yet another unexplainable adventure. I hope you are all having a happy and healthy day today, and I hope you are going about and spreading that love. But guys, today's adventure has yet again brought us to somewhere that I have never filmed before on this Unexplainable channel. Firstly, I'm not going to tell you the name of the school, and I'm not going to tell you the area that we are in as well, but we have been given permission for a guided tour around this abandoned school. Guys, I am so excited. Look at this. It's so beautiful. Me and Pieli over the past quite a few months have been coming by this school, just wishing that we could get on the inside, and we managed to get hold of the lovely Becky, who is occupying this place. She messaged us back and said, yeah, sure, come and take a look. I'll be there with you, but you're more than welcome to have a look around and film as much as you want. So we did. We came today, finally. Guys, I am just so beside myself. I'm gonna stop talking. We're gonna get on into this school. Guys, welcome back to my Unexplainable adventures, and welcome to the abandoned school. Let's get it.
Most in shape rooms, I say. It really hasn't leaked horrendously here enough to actually have any of it fall, except for...
Oh, you can really smell the old school.
Yes. That is
the wood.
No, seriously, that is like one of the things that I have ingrained in my, like, was it whenever, like, your nose, like, that smell of this place is like, friends would like think it was kind of weird, like, oh, that old building smell, and they'd be like, you mean must and mold? I'm like, no, it's not just. It's not really just that. It's just like my particular building, and just like walking through, it's like it just has that, like, it's history.
Yeah,
like,
there was one class I had when I was about 10, Mrs. Appleby she was called, and she was the only classroom that had the original desktop tables, and that was the same smell because the wood, it was really old.
Yeah.
These desks were so old.
And they don't lose that.
And that's the only time I've ever smelt that again.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so cute.
I always love these old closets here, these double door closets. They're so glossy, and the finish on them, I'm not...
Like, they've still got many years left.
If I ever actually had the chance to win a lottery or luck out or something.
I know, do the school up, and oh, that would be amazing.
Which was like childhood me, like, oh yeah, we're gonna do that when I get older. And it's like, older me is like, yeah, where's the money coming from, Becky?
Was these the chalkboards here?
Yeah, so these would have been chalkboards, as would that have been one of the a little bit further to the right there. Whenever they put everything to auction, they sold the slate out of the chalkboards. Other than I think a few chairs that are up on the stage in the auditorium, there was like no furniture or any extra stuff at all really that was like left here, because they just auctioned off pretty much everything. Wow. And I would assume at that point in time there's still enough people who had like nostalgic interest and stuff, because Dad was like, yeah, there really wasn't anything at all here whenever he bought it. It was just the property in the building that was up for auction. Did so much graffiti, I guess, after the fact or in between. It's like, I guess someone's like, Justin was here, so like the age-old, like, you know, it never ends. People are always like, I was here.
Oh my gosh, yeah, there's so much.
So another classroom, and it's really kind of quirky because over time, like, gave rooms names, almost. So this is the wood room.
Right.
Can you imagine why?
No.
My dad, like, couldn't get rid of anything, and so, like, it was like lumber related or whatever. Some of the stuff we did shuffle in just because we cleaned this room up a little bit more than some others.
There is so much wood, and there's the wardrobes again.
Literally almost every single, I'm pretty sure every single room has those.
Yeah.
Like they were, I think, like instead of lockers, you know, they had that was their closets. I think for either their coats
and
stuff.
bags and wow.
I think it was for their personal stuff. I don't know if some of it might have been for like school storage too.
Right,
but
yeah,
was,
pens,
like,
paper, books.
I would say, you know, chalkboards were up here, so everyone was sitting facing that way. So my best guess would be that was, you know, everyone's personal effect.
Personal stuff, yeah. Oh, this is just amazing.
So, as you can see, like right here, this I think is our room. Oh, yep, that's what he was talking about. John had forewarned me like the last week that he had heard this really loud boom and he had gone up, and so this piece of plaster right there had just fallen last week. And you can see why, because like it's literally, there's nothing sealing the roof.
Oh yeah, you can see it outside.
Because this brick wall here goes further up because the auditorium and stage are taller than the rest of it.
Yeah.
And so there's like literally no seal there anymore. So it just hits there and keeps on hitting the plaster and comes down. Honestly, like I'd rather have it fall down when I'm not here.
Right,
than
yeah.
fall down when someone is. So see where, so like concrete floor here.
Yeah.
And you can see kind of this seam. So this is where the addition was joined on to the original building. These two rooms here, this would be like the northwestern facing. This room here, its name is Aunt Mabel's room. And it's like, it's really weird telling the stories of why are they named that, because it's kind of weird, but my dad had an aunt who, before her health declined, she resided in the mobile homeless behind us. And whenever she had moved in with us originally, she had a lot of personal stuff that she couldn't, you know, take with her and keep in there. So a lot of her stuff was stored here. And then she went to a nursing home. She passed away a couple of years later. And some of the kids, some of the family came and got some stuff they were interested in, and then the rest of it was just left. So it's like our lives are this hodgepodge of everyone else's stuff.
The amount of like abandoned houses that we've been to, and they're just destroyed.
It's so sad.
It is.
Like, it breaks my heart thinking of my place, and then I just think of like how many places there are out there that are just sitting left because they were stuck in limbo. Whether it was like someone, you know, like it didn't sell, or it went, you know, to the bank and then it just sat forever, or you couldn't, like, abandoned owner, like I guess like they never found the true owner to it. I guess that's the thing, right? So like literally you can see the back of the chalkboard frames once again. A little bit of graffiti from probably somewhere in between it closing and when my dad bought it.
So it was left abandoned just for a little while then?
Yeah, the way I understand it, and like grain of salt, most of this is like someone else's word to me, and then hopefully my memory is remembering it properly. But I think it was a high school for the longest time for the area, and then whenever it started after the what's JB Middle School now was originally the high school. And then JB High now was then later built, and they shifted that to the high, and the original building to the middle school. Right. So this, in that time frame, was shifted to an elementary school for a while. And then I think it was in like the later 70s is whenever it was like full-fledged shut down. So I think it sat for a handful of years, just, you know, under, you know, the school district ownership, but just nothing done with it until they cleaned it out and auctioned off stuff, and then auctioned. It was like a sealed, like a closed envelope bid. So basically my dad was a real estate broker for a long time, and he happened to be driving by. And so on one of his travelings through, he saw this going down, and I guess he stopped by on a whim and was like, I'll put a bid down. And, you know, ended up finding out later that he got it. I love hearing other people's visions for it, because like I've had so many visions for it since I was a kid too. The biggest thing, like I usually like kind of feel bad about it's like, well, everyone can have great ideas forever and a day, but it's like, unless I found the right person who had the funding behind it, because I don't have that. It's astronomical. Yeah. Like the amount of money to like rehabilitate it and stuff. If I could do what I wanted, like I'd love to make it a blend of the old, what is in good shape. I'd sooner just make it a place where like it could be a common place, like whether a community drawn where you'd have like open spaces for workshops or little businesses, pop-ups, things like that.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah,
I hope that you do manage to one day get something going. I will help by buying a lot of this stuff.
This thing here is super quirky, this old radio. I don't think it works. I think it's
So cool.
But it's like,
If that worked.
it's so cute, you know?
Yeah.
So there was this old bowling alley that was like one of the few like local like attractions or haunts back in the day, and my dad was good friends with the last owner of it.
Yeah.
And whenever he was ready to sell, it was actually getting in bad shape, and they sold it to another business, and the building was going to get torn down because it was pretty derelict. So again, you know, they took a lot of stuff off of that, boards, some of the cool old like bowling alley boards. And there's a lot of like machinery and things that the guy ended up selling to like other bowling alleys, you know, they posted online.
Right.
But he had a bunch of bowling balls left over from it. So I think those ones there are actually from that bowling alley.
Wow.
So I don't know that John will care, but this is all John stuff.
Okay.
This is like all his pipe organ things.
Oh wow.
Yes.
God, there they are.
So John, he's a pipe organ builder, like repair, like crafter. That's been his life. Long story short, like I sang in a choir whenever I was like a preteen that he played the organ for whenever we had practices in the local town. Whenever I started working at the store in town, he came through for something, and like somehow I must have had a face that didn't change too much, because he's like, "Did you sing in the kids choir back in the day when you're I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I think I was there. He's like, I'll be back the next time I'm in. And like we had talked about some other stuff. And so like I'm an actual talker, so I wasn't weirded out. I was just very curious. Like, really? And so he comes back and he has like this like pamphlet from a service, and here like I'm like, hey, yeah, that is me. We have a lot of electricity shut off through the main hall that way just because of the water damage, but this section right here, oh yeah, the lights from both sides.
Principal's office.
Yeah, and I will say like the desk, and none of this stuff actually is original. This for a short while was like the clubhouse. Me and my brother went up here and made it our headquarters. I think the sign that I made is completely sun-bleached, where you can't read anything except for the rubber stamp. But March 20th of 2008. Yeah, so you can't read whatever I wrote, but yeah, that's whenever I wrote it.
Wow. It's a good headquarters.
Yeah, I remember someone talking about like, you know, perfect vantage point for a principal, because like you could just be here and just stare out the front window at everyone walking up the staircase or the sidewalk. off to school.
Oh, look at the yellow lamp.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Those are my dad's.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I mean, he had some taste though. Like,
yeah, I love that thing. It broke, which is why it's up here. One of those things where it's like, oh, I'll fix it one day.
I'll fix it one day.
But I don't want to get rid of that because that's what, like, if I had the time or had someone else fix it for me, I love that. Just like that bright sunshine.
Oh my gosh,
like
yeah.
those military grade storage units.
Oh yeah.
Those are my uncles.
Look at that.
My dad's uncle.
Oh no way! So they were actually like used.
Yeah, those ones there. He was like ex-military, I think.
Oh no way!
Like
I think it is.
I think so. Me and my brother ended up finding that somewhere. Oh, so the two blocked off rooms on the other side of that area, they're blocked off because for a period of time my dad actually did rent those two top rooms off to a guy who was just like living by himself. And so actually some of this stuff is from that dude was like a hoarder.
Okay.
You know, this building just draws people in, like can't get rid of stuff.
Okay, I'm in. Oh, so many buckets of water. Oh wow.
There's a few of them that haven't gotten blasted by plaster walls.
Yeah.
You see those beams, like you don't see that wide and that thick of like a wooden beam nowadays. The amount of work it took to build a place like this, it's mind-boggling, you know. And it's like I certainly didn't have some of the leaps and bounds that we have nowadays, but it's like to build like really like, you know, very beautiful things, you know. This year makes 100 years old for this section of the building. Like even in all of the derelict falling downness, it's still here. It's still got halfway good bones, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know.
The doors look. The part indoors.
Yeah, so this here, I don't know where the ones to this section got to. Maybe they auctioned them off too. But like this would have been originally like divided up into classrooms as well. So see the big door, there's a little door built into it.
Yes.
The knob's gone.
Oh my god, yeah.
But like they would have closed those up and made these into like classrooms, I guess originally. And same with over there, like that one wooden beam there, those things hanging down, that would have had doors as well. And then the one beam running this way.
Oh, there, yeah. Wow. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
This flag only has 48 stars.
Really?
Oh my gosh. So that's old. That's really
It would
old.
have been before
Hawaii.
Hawaii and Alaska. It up until a couple of years ago, it actually was. No, I say a couple of years ago. It's probably been closer to 10 now. It was in really good shape for the longest time. At least it had never been touched. Like I never wanted to touch it because I was afraid it was going to disintegrate.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely has disintegrated more, but I haven't known how to get it down without having it crumble to pieces in my hands. So I think the desks and chairs here are the stack that my dad mentioned being original.
Okay.
With the metal back chairs.
Yeah.
Here.
Anything with wood in it, you know, is
It's
going
been around,
to
because everything nowadays has been like, you know, plastic or some variation of metal.
be. The yellow sofa to go with your yellow lamps. You could have the best front room.
And then these wicker, like, you know, these have
I've
like that
seen
mid-century
them
modern. Yeah, I would say 80s probably. I hear you got like tweed.
Yeah,
Like, tweed? I'm
I
like, oh, there's really, really cars.
Oh, and when people used to wear the clothes that were like made like that as well.
Yeah,
The jackets.
Like, how could you not just be like scratchy the whole time you're walking
Itchy.
around? dad's old radio, and he would bring it up here whenever he would come up here to empty the buckets. Usually in the evening because it was cooler.
Yeah.
And so my mom, whenever her and I come up here periodically, we have the trend. It's super cute and it still works.
Oh my gosh, just the perfect.
There, that's your background track to this one. Second half of the girls' bathroom.
Wow.
So these are like the old OG bathroom stalls.
No way.
Complete with, the toilets are still here.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
imagine using those things.
Wow, yeah.
And so whenever like my dad when he bought the place, he basically they blocked off like the doorway. You can actually see. So those steps up there, that actually is the boarded up doorway that led into like the shower stall portion.
Oh.
And that actually is where our bathroom is now currently. It kind of doubles as like our bathroom, shower, and like laundry mudroom, basically.
Oh my goodness. Is this what your mum's doing?
Yes, this is my mom's. There is some stuff that's bad because we've come down and been like, my dad was kind of garbage disposal of the family, like
Yeah.
anything. And so like
That's
we don't go through stuff near as fast as we used to. So
Right, of course.
she's been meaning to come over here and clean up some stuff because I know we have some
Again,
stuff
that's
not bad.
it's just another thing that us Brits don't ever see. We're just very much a nation that just goes to the shops.
Oh, I would never have thought of that.
Yeah, no, I've heard of so many, like especially like farmers and stuff. They
Canning is a whole thing around here. This is the boiler room.
Okay.
okay.
Actually, let me move my mom's sign. Oh, that's lovely.
That's a really old sign.
This is just my mom's nice handmade one because
Wow.
look at that font. Isn't that,
I
isn't that
know.
cool? I always thought that the stay out with the very flourished Y and T was just very unique, So if you want a close up of that, by all means.
Wow, that's wow.
It's amazing.
And I'll open it up for you and we can take a peek inside, but
Yeah, we'll come back to that one.
Yeah, we will.
so
I got you.
that light. Oh, okay.
Thank you.
So this, we actually still use the original well that
Wow.
was dug for this place. This is the tank. This is the pump for the well. So we don't have like a small pump. We have, I don't know how many gallons this thing is, but it's the original and it still works. Other than replacing some switches and stuff on it that my dad did over the years. This is where all of our water pressure comes from. That doorway there is insulated and sealed off, but that is the doorway that leads into those last two rooms where John's space is.
Okay.
So that was just basically the mirror image of our two residential sides.
Right.
Just kind of the flip side of that. This room here, from what some people have told me over the years, actually was
Oh my god.
I think they said it was a music rehearsal room at one point. And then maybe I think the newspaper club or someone, like the printing club was here, like the newspaper or yearbooks. Because like in nowhere else in the building is this kind of wood paneling.
So that's kind of good.
It's almost like they got so far and then they flipped to that and just left it be.
You see,
Yeah.
it could have been a music room. I think you're right. Because
Yes.
the old school I went to had things like this in it.
I'm thinking maybe because of like just sound absorption, they might have had panels or something on
Right.
there at
Yeah.
first. Cause like there, and then like it's back to this like stone wall with nothing else on it.
Yeah.
As you can see, the vines loved it. The vines kept on there.
That looks so cool though.
Look at Robbie.
Oh, the radiator. So the only other place we saw a radiator on the ceiling was the bank in Brownsville. It was completely, it was collapsed. It was more, but...
So the boys' bathroom, the one that's blocked off over there on that end, what fell down was the radiator collapsed. It was like hanging suspended. The one support came undone. In our bathroom, like the shower end of what we came through there, we still had the original ceiling radiator, and we're still using it until we stopped using the hot water system. We had a couple older ones that Dad had brought in, you know, some floor units. This thing's last. Like,
right.
They survive. A little door. Oh gosh. Don't come back here if you don't. We'll use whatever's nearby to get rid of them.
Oh my gosh, that door.
This probably, well, honestly, was the thing that creeped me out the most as a teenager.
Yeah. It's the Harry Potter door.
Yes. No, seriously. Great reveal. So this thing is like heavy.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, my arm's in a cobweb.
This is why you sent her first. She gets
Yeah.
more complex.
Yeah.
I see how it is.
Yeah. Right. Oh gosh, look at the stairs. And they were made of wood.
They actually were in pretty good shape up until maybe about 5-6 years ago. But there was, for the longest time, a drip had kind of cropped up right on the edge. And so it just kind of started hitting right here, and it started making the whole thing kind of rot out. And so there was one time I was here going down them, and my foot went a little crunch, and I was like,
yeah, then
we might not be using these anymore.
Right.
So the ladder was kind of a last minute addition in case we had to get down there quickly, but it wasn't so grown up over on that other outdoor staircase. That's actually how I got in more recently.
Wow.
But this thing here, that actually was like their original oil burner.
Yeah.
And that was like the furnace. That's how it heated it originally. The only thing to the right hand side is like it makes kind of like a little U dip, and there's another little cubby room around the corner, and that's actually like where the well head is. And so,
Wow.
a few times like Dad had to go to the pump or anything like that. There actually was like a little crawl space access to it where the well is. final hurrah. The friend who uses for filming actually just posted the most recent video that he used it for a location. We've used it I think 2 or 3 times. Oh wait, I hope this isn't so small that I can go. Oh no, please. Okay. Can't break it much worse than ours.
That was pretty good.
So,
Oh, the grates on the door.
yeah. Well, because like when you think about this is like a pretty small gym. Like it's not a full court in the sense of a modern full court. You know,
Right.
at least, like they actually have apparently like stadium seats right here, just super skinny ones, just smacked right along this wall. And that
Wow.
was it.
Is that the
From,
framework for it?
I think this might have been a scoreboard. That's
Right.
my best guess.
There's a drum kit as well. The basketball thing it's all made out of wood. Like the whole frame is wood.
It's really cobbled together. Like I don't know if they had to like repair it or patch it together.
The basketball court that Jack built.
Yeah, actually.
The floor all bows up and arches.
And that's honestly the floor here is probably one of the things that I'm most sad about because up until maybe like 10 years ago or even like 5 or 6, like it wasn't nearly this bad. It only started bowing within like the last 6, 7 years probably. It used to be, me and my brother actually would come down here and play basketball when we were kids. The lines, you could actually faintly make out some of the original lines painted on the floor. But it's had kind of like damage.
An actual squirrel. Oh, he's gone in the ceiling. He's just come through that window. He's just gone up into the hole in the ceiling. Yeah.
They came in through the window. There's a broken panel.
And like ran across the...
He came across the pipe and then went up into the hole there in the ceiling. So I just witnessed one of the many natives of the rest of the building.
Right.
Instead, it's a home. It's probably home to a lot more. The crazy thing is like black snakes. I mean, they don't hurt you. You know, they're great to keep like pests down and stuff. But I remember my dad saying how like they found the skin of like a black snake that was probably like 5 or 6 feet long.
Wow.
And it was like up in the rafters. They found it whenever he was up on the roof and they had pulled some stuff up to like replace plywood. And like underneath in the rafters was like this really long black snake. And he's like, well, at least we don't have to worry about a lot of mice because the snakes are eating good. And like, I'm not complaining there as long as I don't run into them in a dark alley.
How preserved the wood is.
Actually had like a very nice like glossy, I guess polyurethane or lacquer on it before all the water damage.
Oh, right.
Because I remember actually as a kid, like me and my brother would come down and we had like that push broom there. So there was still like pieces of like the surface plaster flaking off once in a while. So I'd usually sweep it a bit before we would play. And it was a lot shinier and probably lacquered before that wore away probably.
The amazing thing as well, I guess, like for you and your brother especially, is that you saw this place when...
It was in better shape.
Yeah. Okay then, my unexplainables, unfortunately that does yet again bring it to the end of another unexplainable adventure. Guys, we just explored a really old abandoned school. Becky has given us so much information as well about this place, not even just the history on here. She's also shared with us some really loving and memorable moments from her dad and from her young childhood, and that's amazing. Becky, once again, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for allowing us to come and meet you finally, and to come and take a look around this wonderful historical building. I don't think there is enough words to express to you how grateful we are for you allowing us to do this today. So again, thank you so much, Becky. This has been the most amazing and surreal experience. It's been amazing. But guys, also a massive thank you to all of you that are continuously supporting me and sharing the love as well along on my journeys. I hope that you will stick around with me for many more unexplainable adventures. So subscribe if you haven't done that already, and if you haven't, why have you not done it? Go subscribe right now. It's completely free. You don't need to pay a penny for it. You just need to keep showing your love and supporting the channel by hitting the like button and sharing this out. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Guys, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna stop talking now. I need an iced coffee to calm down from all the excitement I have just experienced. So guys, until the next unexplainable adventure, way out.